The Cubs' rotation is collapsing. Chicago Cubs can't even put together the package needed to land Tarik Skubal. How is that even possible? The Detroit Tigers have lost 17 of their last 20 games and now sit in last place in the American League Central. With Skubal set to become a free agent at the end of the season, Detroit's front office faces an obvious decision. Trade him now and get a real prospect return, or let him walk away for nothing in October. The clock is ticking. When I read this news this morning, I just sat there staring at my computer for a while. Skubal, a two-time Cy Young winner, an elite ace in the absolute prime of his career, and we can't even afford the entry price. That's the kind of thing that makes me question every decision made in Wrigleyville over the last 3 years. Remember when Jed Hoyer promised the rebuild would give the Cubs one of the best farm systems in baseball? Well, now the bill is coming due, and the receipt has Tarik Skubal's name printed across the top. The numbers don't lie. The Cubs' rotation has produced negative 0.9 WR this season, the worst mark of any team in the National League, ahead of only the San Francisco Giants. Cade Horton is out for the rest of the year. Justin Steele suffered a setback during his recovery from Tommy John surgery. Matthew Boyd underwent surgery on his left knee and could return soon. According to Bleacher Report, the Cubs have only one prospect ranked among the top 100 in baseball, and he sits at number 25. For a team presenting itself as a National League contender, that number is indefensible. If you follow this channel and want real behind-the-scenes Cubs analysis, hit the like button right now. It helps the channel grow and helps us reach 4,000 subscribers. Every interaction matters. Tell me in the comments, do you believe the Cubs' current farm system is strong enough to build a competitive package for Skubal? Or did the front office already miss this window before it even opened? To understand what's happening in Detroit, you have to zoom out for a second. When a team collapses like this, 17 losses in 20 games, the front office logic changes completely. Keeping Skubal serves no purpose if he's leaving in free agency anyway. The smart move is trading him before the deadline and getting back young talent that can shape the franchise for years. That's what teams call selling at the deadline. The Tigers are not surrendering. They're being strategic. The problem for the Cubs is that Detroit knows exactly what it has. One of the 3 best pitchers in baseball, recovering health-wise, with the pedigree of back-to-back Cy Young awards. The asking price will be massive. And to pay that price, you need elite prospects in your system, something Chicago clearly does not have in enough quantity right now. Look, I understand injuries are unpredictable. Steele, Horton, Boyd, nobody plans for that. But the issue runs deeper. A strong farm system exists for moments exactly like this, when you need to buy aggressively at the trade deadline without destroying your present and future at the same time. If you spend years promising a rebuild, and then the market offers you a transformational ace, while your prospect shelf is nearly empty, something went wrong. Jed Hoyer deserves to be questioned publicly about that. Not as a personal attack, but for accountability. Fans invested patience. The bill is due. The trade deadline will not wait. If the Cubs can't put together a package for Skubal now, they need a believable plan B fast. Because without rotation help, this pitching staff's playoff chances are, at best, highly questionable. What would you do if you were Hoyer right now? There will be intense competition for Skubal. Teams with deep farm systems and the payroll flexibility to handle a potential contract extension have a real advantage in this race. Skubal himself is recovering from surgery to remove loose bodies from his pitching elbow, which adds another layer of risk to any trade. But contenders rarely let that stop them when the talent level is this high. For the Cubs to build a competitive package, the most realistic scenario would probably require at least one established major league player combined with multiple prospects from the farm system. And even then, there would be no guarantee of getting the deal done. In an analysis written by Zachary D. Reimer, Bleacher Report was blunt. The Cubs simply do not have the prospect capital Detroit is demanding. That's a brutal statement, and it exposes a structural weakness that goes far beyond this specific trade deadline. My final read: the Cubs probably are not going after SKUBAL, and honestly, maybe they shouldn't at that price. But what this entire situation reveals is even bigger than one trade that may never happen. It shows that Chicago still has not finished building the foundation necessary to compete with elite franchises whenever the market opens a transformational window. Being a Cubs fan has always required patience. My wife could confirm that just by looking at my WAR spreadsheets still open at 11 at night. But patience without accountability is not loyalty, it's complacency. And the North Side deserves better than that. My strongest take of the day: Matthew Boyd needs to return before the trade deadline. Not as the solution, but as proof this rotation still has a pulse. If he doesn't come back healthy, the front office may have to explore waiver wire pitching options. And that's not glamorous, but it may be the only realistic path left. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the Cubs go after SKUBAL at any cost, or protect the farm system for the future? I want to read every response.